like the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. That what you got? I used to think you owned the street. Well, back your bag till your ass is dead meat.
Yeah! Yeah! What is good, guys? Boy, Hugo the Savage. It's in the title of the video. I'm dressed in Raw gear. I done my Raw reaction this morning, and then I just finished watching the whole episode of Raw. So now I can give my thoughts on the new 100% heel turning, beast slaying Seth Rollins, aka leader of the AOP, aka Architects of Pain. It's got a nice ring to it, innit? Because the authors of painting, I told man already, they ain't wrote no books. I've read Roald Dahl, Charles Dickens, and Shakespeare and all that, but there ain't been no Akam and Razar book. So man, I'm mugging me off. But anyway, let's get into this, man. Because I want to do a video on this, because obviously, reading the comment sections, and everyone seems really excited that Seth's turned heel now, and all the people who were slagging him off and saying bad things about him personally over the last few weeks, all of a sudden are in the comment section saying, "Oh, I hope you WWE fans are happy now," blah blah. I'm like, I noticed the names in the comment section who have said the same things. So yeah, I mean, everyone wants to do that. See, I knew Seth's always been the best, blah blah blah. No, I think us wrestling fans, because I am a wrestling fan, I'm not the same as everyone else, but us wrestling fans, some people have got a little bit fickle. And we got to this point in, I say 2009, but it's been happening for a while, where we scream out for the WWE to hear what the fans have to say. And if it doesn't go their way, they get really, really angry about it. There is things I would like to happen. Do you know what I mean? I sit with my friends very often, weekly, and say, oh, how I would book this and how I'd book that. But I'm not here to tell WWE how to do their job. Now, granted, we pay our money and we are the consumers, so we feel like we should have a say. And there are things what I've seen that I think they're a bit ridiculous. But that's not the reason why you start watching wrestling. You don't watch wrestling so you can have your say on it. That doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? You don't watch a movie, and then when you watch Avengers and you're like, why did Tony Stark die? You don't start writing to Kevin Feige and saying, listen, I was about this Avengers movie, I paid my cinema money, but Tony shouldn't have died. You know what I mean? You take it for what it is. You know what I mean? You have a discussion with your friends, because that's what it's about. But some people have gone too far, and I think if you make videos and you're respectful of the wrestler still, and still respectful of people, because they're humans doing a job, put their life on the line. So if you're still respectful of people, and you're just saying what you want to say, and having a word on it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But it's gone past debate where I've seen in comment sections people saying the horrible things to Seth. And the thing is, I would say, it's not the only reason why I've made this video, but I thought this was happening to Roman Reigns a year ago. And the sad thing with the Roman situation is it took until his cancer came back and for him to recover, and then when he come back, you could see on people's faces that it's like, how do I boo this guy who's just recovered from cancer? That should not be the reason why you stop booing Roman. If you're going to boo him anyway, just boo him. Because you was already booing him for no reason. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, granted that we've had problems with, like, say problems, but there's promos and whatever, and everyone's more accessible now. We can see stuff on Instagram, you can see behind the scenes on the network, so everyone just assumes that we all know what we're talking about, but it's not the case. Do you know what I mean? We know as much as they want us to know, and there's still stuff held back. My assumption was always with Roman that he seemed like he had been scripted to say certain things, which we know how WWE works, but it seemed like he had read off a piece of paper, I've got to go and say this, and he's just thinking about it, so then when it comes out, it doesn't seem natural. It sounds a bit robotic. It sounded like Vince was saying it. If you hear anything from Dean Ambrose when he left, and he was on the Talk Is Jericho podcast, he pretty much said the same thing. He said that he had enough because they were telling him to say certain things. And if you look back at Dean Ambrose on the way out, the last 3 or 4 months he was there, that angle was terrible. Like, I could barely watch it, and this is somebody that I watched week in, week out. I was the massive fan of The Shield. Roman was my guy. but the Dean Ambrose segments towards the end, I could not take him in. So it says a lot. So we kind of figured out that Vince does have a big say in what people... And I get it, he's the boss in it. So Vince is a little bit old school. It's not because he's an old man, it's because he's old school. And he built an empire on a certain way of wrestling and promotions and cutting promos. And he's like, that's my winning formula, I'm going to stick to it. Obviously, fans are a lot smarter now because we can see more things. Times have changed with social media. So we're like... I'm saying we because I'm a wrestling fan, but what I actually mean is the fans, what I'm on about, in their head, they're like, listen, kayfabe's kind of dead, so there's no point doing this because you think we're idiots. My thing is always, there has to be some level of kayfabe there. I would love it to be 100%, but it can't really be now because people are posting on social media. So someone will have a wrestling match with someone on the weekend, and then they'll post a picture with them in a bar, and it's kind of like, oh, that's destroyed it. Which is kind of the reason why we love The Fiend at the moment. Everyone thinks they love The Fiend just for what he's doing on the Firefly Funhouse. A little bit. He's took great stuff from way back, what he would have been brought up on. He's kept the kayfabe pretty much amazing. You know what I mean? I've seen him on interviews and stuff, and he's still in the... Even when he's not The Fiend and he's doing the Funhouse break, he's still kept the same character going. You can check out yourself. I can't remember what the show is. Just write it in on YouTube and you'll see he kept the kayfabe going. So Seth Rollins has just become a victim of that. Really, he's become a victim of what Roman had, what John Cena had for so long, where people just boo for no reason. And I say no reason because there is no way Seth's done anything bad enough for everyone to turn that quick. In kayfabe land, you do turn when you've got a favourite wrestler and then he turns heel or something like that. But the boo started before this heel turn, what only happened today, officially. And I was looking back, only up until, I think it was maybe July. I mean, we had April, he won at WrestleMania. Everyone wanted him to win. There was a massive pop when he beat Brock Lesnar. It was a quick match, but effective. He beat Brock, the cheers were amazing. Everyone was like, finally, Seth's the champion. That was in April. We are only in December now. So that is around 7 months, I think. About 7 months. July, he lost the title on Raw when Brock cashed in. There was a big pop for Brock, but there always is. Even I pop for Brock when he comes back, even if he's trying to fight one of my favourites. He won the title. Seth got the title back at SummerSlam, which was in August. Don't get me wrong, there was a thing leading up to that Raw around the SummerSlam time where I wasn't fed up of Seth, but what happened was they brought the real life relationship between him and Becky into wrestling, and I seen what he tried to do there. It was kind of, everyone knows about us, so it's going to be kind of hard to avoid each other on Raw, so should we just make a thing of it? It made sense, but what happened is Becky was the bigger draw. I say bigger draw, that means making money. No, Becky was just the bigger star in that whole situation because she had just won her title at WrestleMania. Becky 2 belts was going on. She was on this Austin wave of just being a badass. And then the t-shirts came out of the man's man, and it kind of belittled Seth a little bit. And you can tell that he was happy for his woman to be doing so well. So he's just like, I'll take it. They had that match between, I think it was Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin versus Seth and Becky, and that's when Brock cashed in Money in the Bank after. I think Becky got the end of days given to her, and then Seth didn't know whether to stay in the ring or not, so he stayed to protect her. Brock cashed in, wins. There was it's probably only a month after that Seth then is leading up to, because I think that was Extreme Rules, and then leading up to SummerSlam. I didn't like the promos Seth was cutting, but that's a preference thing. That's not, oh, I hate Seth because he's cutting these stupid promos. It was a bit too, like, how do I say it? The story was a bit rushed between him and Brock, if that makes any sense. Because when does Brock ever lose titles and win that quick? Like, he normally has a long reign of having the title. So once he had cashed in and won that title, he's kind of like, we need to get it back off Brock. And it went really fast. And there was a thing where he came to Raw and destroyed Seth with the steel chair. Seth turned up SummerSlam with the bandage around his waist. People can't beat Brock Lesnar at 100% most of the time. There's only a select few. I would be shocked if Brock's lost to more than 10 people in his whole WWE career. And I'm not even joking. 10, probably more than 10 matches, but 10 people. So to beat him half-hearted, bandages broken, that seemed a little bit unreal to me. But if you watch that SummerSlam match back, when he gives him the final curb stomp, there's a massive pop. Seth wins, and everyone's elated and excited. Now, like I said, that was in August. We're in December, so that was 4 months ago, and it was at the end of August. We're in at the beginning of December now. What has happened that quick for everyone to turn on Seth? Well, I'll tell you what's happened. He had the Universal title. He done what he was supposed to do. He turns up. He had no nights off. The title was always on the show, which was great for the brand. At that same SummerSlam where that happened with Seth, The Fiend had a match against Finn Balor, and he was just picking off people, and everyone just started to say, if he came after Seth, so once he comes after Seth, now we're like, he ain't gonna lose, so we need the title. That happened. He has the Hell in a Cell match with Seth. It finishes in the weirdest way, and people start blaming it on Seth. There was 2 people in that match, but people started blaming it on Seth, saying, what is going on with the finish, blah, blah. This geezer got put in a mandible claw at the end of the match, bleeding out of his face. He didn't tell the ref to call off the match and all that business, so it was a bit unfair. And I think just leading from that, they wanted The Fiend to get the title. The Fiend got the title on Halloween, which was October the 31st. And then we've only had a month since. So in that month since, not much has happened apart from the fact that Seth has just been turning up on Raw. And I think he just got fed up himself. He was on backstage. He had to. I even seen it was a bit awkward between him and Paige, because wrestlers are saying stuff. Their own colleagues are saying stuff on Twitter as well, which I don't really think they should be doing that. It kind of undermines it. Then you got the argument with CM Punk, and I think Will Ospreay. I think Will Ospreay as well. And all Seth ever does on Twitter is he backs everyone in the company. Anyone who comes from the outside who's tries to say stuff about WWE, he's always on Team WWE. He's a team player. He does the best, man. I don't understand. Someone's promos being not great is not... I don't think it's valid enough to start hating on someone. You know what I mean? Bret Hart was one of my favourites when I was a little kid. His promos wasn't great. You know what I mean? They were 6 to 7 out of 10. But he was great in the ring, like Seth is. So, it's a little bit weird, but like I said, it got a bit personal. I've seen the comments. The CM Punk thing, disrespectful. And then obviously with this WWE backstage, I don't know. I watch it because it's a WWE product, but I think having an insight of people from the WWE, they have to kind of watch what they say. And bringing CM Punk in, he won't watch what he says. And he's so powerful. People have been chanting his name for however many years when he ain't even been here. So he's so powerful. If he says something, you know what I mean? I think everyone kind of knew, though, that the good guy thing in Seth being the face wasn't all down to him. A lot of it was down to Vince McMahon and how he was being pushed in the company. So, you know what I mean? There's not much you can do about that. And while he was doing that, we can see Seth on Twitter who's not standing for stuff. So now, everyone calls for heel Seth. Don't get me wrong. My favourite Seth was heel Seth. He was great. He was sneaky. Snidey had J&J with him. Any means necessary to win the title or to win a match. He was very cocky. And yeah, it seems like from the last few weeks, from that promo we cut after Survivor Series, that's the Seth. I will say, people who are talking about his whiny voice, that whiny voice has been there the whole time. He hasn't changed the way he speaks. So people need to get over that a little bit. But yeah, man, it's exciting. Now, if we're going to make this heel turn official, we need that laugh back, Seth. And we need that gold streak back in your hair. You know them way. But it's amazing to see. I don't know who chose who in the Authors of Pain thing and Seth Rollins. The likelihood is Seth is a bit more higher ranking than them two. So if he's brought them in, then fair play to Seth, because they're a great tag team and just fall into the wayside a little bit. And it's going to be great for them. But I can see this faction being quite dominant. But it's going to be fun because heel Seth is very unpredictable. You know what I mean? He's got one of my best WrestleMania moments when he beat Brock and Roman in that triple threat, when he cashed in the Money in the Bank. AOP just looked legit. Like, it doesn't matter what they do, whoever they beat up, it will look real. If they beat up Brock, it will look real. If they beat up Big E, all these big, it will look real. So we're going down the right route. So we'll have to see what to do with it. But very impressed with Raw today. Raw was pretty good. Seth's promo was pretty good. He pretty much said what I've just said. And you know it was from the heart. It was pretty much realistic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Seth Rollins, heel turn. Architects of Pain, as I like to call it. This could be great. This could be great. Don't get me wrong, there's always a chance that things can go a bit south with when you get a new faction on the go. But if they do this right, Authors of Pain don't talk too much. Because they look a lot more mean, silent. But yeah, man, this could be excellent. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you guys want to know how I would book certain feuds, because I swear I've got the brain of a WWE writer, but like my thing is I've got all the ideas and I wouldn't know how to write it myself with the timeline and where it goes, because these writers write in advance. But trust me, I have the brain. This Seth Rollins heel turn, I wrote this down maybe about 3 months ago. You know them ones. So yeah, don't test me, man. But I've been your boy Hugo the Savage. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. You guys have been amazing. Let's jump in the comment section. Let's talk. And I just want to know, man. Listen, I'm trying to get to 7,000 subscribers by Christmas. Yeah? Don't ask why. 7's my number, and that's what I want. So, not 10, not 8, 7. So let's get that done. I've been your boy Hugo the Savage. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Follow me on Instagram, @Hugo the Savage. Yeah.